All right, hello everybody. Welcome back for another look at a feature film breakdown. This one, I believe, is from New World with Tom Hanks, and this is an interesting situation where it's not going to happen all the time, right? It's not as popular as an office setup or a bar setup, but it does come up from time to time, and I focus on it because it's one of the most challenging. One of the most challenging from a blocking standpoint, but also from a lighting. Once you decide on the blocking, how do you overcome a situation where you know you're going to lack a lot of control? And if you've watched any of these videos in the past, you know the main goal when looking at things in pre-production, whether it's through the blocking or the lighting plan, for me is about how much control can I have over the image? Because the more control I have, the more confidence I have in my ability to deliver something that I'm going to be happy with. So very rarely on set would I want to show up and have less control rather than more control. So when time is scarce and when budgets are up against it, what I want to do is to be able to impose on the scene exactly what I think is going to make it look the best. And the more control I have over that, the better. In today's little snippet, we're looking at a situation where you have a choice between being in the shade and being in the sun, but either party has to be in one or the other. So it's a setup on the edge of a tent. Usually this happens in, I don't know, I'm thinking like military films or, it's usually like battleground stuff where this would come up in the past. But you think, well, I'm never really going to do a period piece, or that's not the kind of stuff I work on right now. I've shot commercials that ended up with this exact sequence based on two people interacting under a gazebo or under a tent or at a wedding. Like, this thing pops up all of the time. You'll find yourself in an incredibly tricky situation. And if you understand the pros and cons of choosing one blocking or one framing over another, I think you're going to be in a better position to be successful and get images that you're happy with. If you want to see the entire breakdown of this film, I think it was shot by Darius Kanji, I believe, memory serves me, who's a fantastic cinematographer, one of my favorites, and he certainly has interesting solutions to a whole ton of problems. And you can see in this breakdown that he chooses not the most straightforward solution, but he makes it work nonetheless. And that's what skill will get you, right? You don't have to corner yourself if you're very good, because you can work your way out of any situation. Myself, I'm not that good, so I'm looking for the solution that I know is going to be the easiest to get with the least amount of friction, so I can focus on other things. Okay, that being said, let's have a little look here at New World. Sort of looks like 1917 skies for this Steadicam move. That's just really soft. I mean, it is a beautiful looking image, right? But you don't really get, you do get stuff from the layers that they've built up, right? You get the passerby, you get Tom's little hat with the little soft hub on the face with the soft light, all of the colors here, like the different colors of brown. This, beautiful. It's like, we don't have any more money for any more set. What about that giant cart? Bring that over here. Good idea, Darius. Look at this guy. I caught you looking at the camera. Don't do it, dude. Don't you dare. Right there, that little nod. Don't you dare. Let's see him. Get ready. Go. And here he comes, horse's ass. And not yet. Got you there. Boom. See? Little freak out of the girl. Don't look at the camera. But look how soft it is, man. They're getting full sun there now. Full sun, but it's like a beautiful, it's not full sun. Really, it's like high cloud, right? This is 1917 exposure land. And then we come in here and talk about making it hard on yourself. This is that scene. This is what I'm talking about when I say make it hard on yourself. We've looked at some of this tent stuff before, right? What's the easy way to do it? Easy way to do it, which is the way that I would do it. The simple way that I know is going to work is, instead of having the action go out of the tent this way, you have the action going this way, right? So the desk is going this way, Old Mate's sitting here. That way, all of the sun, you can bring in all of your level that way, as opposed to all the level coming forward, right? And we are looking out into the brightest area, to the buildings that are getting hit with front light, even though we're underneath this thing, right? And there's obviously a shitload of level. You can feel the level in here. The amount of light that is being pumped into this tent is enormous. But still, it seems so difficult because it is hard to get that balance right, and it takes time. So this is, again, one of those situations where it's just like, it's the hardest way you could do it, but still looks great. So here we go. This is the exact opposite angle that you would want. Normally, all of the stuff that we've looked at before, you would be over there, right where this guy's sitting, shooting this shot. because then you'd have the little edges of backlight on all these people. And then you could push more level at Tom from inside here and get a little shape on him. Darius says, I don't care. This is a gritty, rugged movie. We're gonna make it. We're not gonna make everything Hollywood slick. Even there. Okay. And then what does that mean? Well, now that we're here, I mean, I guess we're shooting into a little bit there, but there's no shape on this guy because all of the light is coming from this direction. So it's not like we can't really place anything. There's a little bit, we're getting a little kick over here. All right, you can feel it just in here. You're getting a little something, but there's not a whole lot of options for bringing level. And there's just not a whole lot of level, right? And we come in, now you can feel how much more under he is there than he is there. But this is what I'm saying, okay? So, had we done the plan where we were shooting along, just imagine what this shot would look like. Right now we would be slightly inside of the tent and would be looking back at covered tent, and we could get a lot more shape on here if you wanted it. Same goes here. The key light is behind Tom, and there's no, except for the ambient sky that is up here, there's really no motivation for pushing any more level in here. So it's like, this is the way that it looks. You know, we're just embracing the harshness, which I like. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the new thing. Just say, fuck it. Let's do it au naturel. Because this is the hard one for exposure. Where is it? I mean, this one's hard, right? Because you got to nail this time, because if you're getting full sun on here, you're going to be in big, big trouble to be able to reach into the shadows that much. Same here, like a giant openness of sky. Let's see, what does that read on the old, I mean, it's up there, isn't it? It's up there. Why didn't that work? I don't know, it's hot, and it seems like a crazy way to do this scene, but Darius did it well. And then we keep going, a little bit of cover. I mean, there's also, I mean, I briefly mentioned it before with a joke about the 3 camera operators, but there are so many different cuts in this movie. Like, you can see the benefit of using so many cameras is if you cut it so much, it's hard to figure out if the light is changing because the edits are so quick. And there, hot sky. But you're still getting that cool little angle. And there's got to be, there's got to be 15 different angles inside of this one scene that takes place underneath the tent. And what happened there? This thing was, I don't know if you saw that before, but that was open, right? To allow light to get in? Or was it? No, it wasn't. We were just getting all this front light back there. So that front light is gone. That's what it is. So we come to this shot, and it's gone back there. Anything else in here? He leaves. Yeah, I mean, look at this change in exposure. He's already out. Oh, I see what they did. He's already out from underneath the tent. And then you come into something like this, and this is perfect backlight. This is a good one too. Okay, this is actually good. I forgot that this was in here. All right, that is the breakdown. You see, I mean, how many times do you think in your head? Again, I would say the same thing. How many times are we actually going to use this setup? You know, where you have somebody approaching from a hot background, and really that's what we're looking at. It's not so much the setting itself. It's more the situation where you have someone in a very controllable background, and you have someone that's not in a controlled background. And how do you balance the two out? Because a lot of the times, at least hopefully, if you're watching multiple of these videos, you'll start to notice a pattern where we want full control of the background, but we really have to set all of our mood and all of the levels to what it is that we can't control. And the quicker that we can identify that in the process, the more we can do to shape things before we get too locked in our ways. Because the last thing you want to do is look at one angle, whether it's the wide and as you punch in down the line for one specific character. If that angle looks great and you've really gone all out on the look and made it stylized, if you turn around and all of a sudden you can't emulate that, you can't match that to what you've done before, that's when you start to get those jumps in continuity. And although, you know, people that are not cinematographers, they'll put up with quite a bit, as we've seen and as we will see in future videos about how much you can get away with in terms of matching. Basically, the rule is just make it look good. Doesn't have to match, just make it look good, and people will forget about all the rest. But sometimes you just can't, you can't make those two marry up, and that's when, at least in the past, I have felt disappointment because you just go too hard one way and you haven't seen that maybe you won't be able to match that, and things feel just too flat or too shapely one direction or another. So this is something to think about, and you will come up against this time and time again, and hopefully with the information that we have seen here and what Darius provided as a solution, it gives you a little bit of runway to be able to come up with your own solutions no matter where you might be. Okay, many thanks. If you want to see the rest of this breakdown, again, Patreon in the description below. I appreciate all the support for the channel, for the podcast. Many thanks, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.